Okay, so in this video, we should try to understand systems approach to international politics. That is basically a behavioralist approach. We have already discussed all the traditional approaches like realist approach, idealist approach, liberalist approach, various schools of liberalist approaches. Uh, so Behavioralism, as we all know, that began in political science as a movement for seeking to make political science as a scientific subject around 1940s, right? It focused on the actual behavioral studies of the participants in political system because it was driven by the idea that philosophy and history have dominated law included, they have dominated political science. And there is no scientificity in political science because of over dominance of history and history and politics, history and philosophy and law. So, in pursuit of making politics, the study of politics, a scientific study, a behavioralist movement began, which sought to establish that the study of politics can be made scientific, provided it is studied as a scientific subject in which scientific methods are used. And to use scientific method, system approach was adopted. So, from the study of state level politics, it also spilled over into international politics. However, uh, international political system is not exactly the political system working at national level or state level because at state level there is one single authority, sovereign state, right? But the same is missing at international level. So that is why political system does not work at international level as one single system, right? So it is little different from state level political system. So let us try to understand what is a system first. What is a system, isn't it? So this is the core to understanding the system approach in international politics. So let us try to understand what is a system. So for an understanding of the main features of system approach in international relations, let us be clear about the concept of system first, right? So what is a system? A system consists of known known set of actors and entitles and entities, or a known set of variables. What are those variables? The variables are political machinery, right? Political parties, government, political attitudes, right? Political interests, political activities. These variables ultimately set parameters to the study of international system, or for that matter any other system. A system can be said to be existing only when visible regularities characterize the relationship of variables to each other. What is the relationship pattern between variables? So what are the variables? The variables are political machinery, political attitude, political interest, political activities. Right? International politics involves describable regularities in the interactions among nations, and as such explained it can be explained and analyzed as an international system. So what makes international system a system is describable regularities between the interactions. Interactions are taking place between nations. So there exist describable regularities. What are these describable regularities? Communication between them, diplomacy between them, ambassadorial exchanges between them, treaties, exchange of treaties between them, right? Agreements for cooperation in the field of security or in the field of trade. So these are describable regularities. So these describable regularities are the most important feature of international system. Okay. So a system is a set of interrelated and interdependent interactions among the actors, right? Now mm, these are the main features of a system. Now let us be even more specific about international system. Okay. So according to Mortan Kaplan, we are here to discuss mainly the Mortan Kaplan's model of international system. So according to Kaplan, international system is an analytical entity for explaining the behavior of international actors and the regulative, integrative, disintegrative consequences of their policies. International actors. Who are international actors? They are mainly, in Kaplan's theory, they are mainly states. So it is very clear. They are states. Okay. So uh, now, according to Carl Deuce says that international system comprises of clusters of settlements, modes of transport, centers of cultures, areas of language, division of class and caste, barriers between markets, sharp regional differences in wealth and interdependence, right? So there must exist these entities. What are these entities? Once again, let us repeat it. Clusters of settlement, that is a reference mainly to states, clusters of settlement, modes of transportation, connecting the international actors, nations, centers of culture, areas of languages, right? Divisions of class and caste, barriers between markets. Only then that it can be said that interactions are taking place between these entities, culture, language. So, set of interaction, a pattern of interaction between nations, cultures, languages. That makes these are all components of international system. So, in a nutshell, international system is the set of interrelated and interdependent interactions among international actors, national and supranational actors. National as well as supranational means international, United Nations, etc. Right. So, there is a basic understanding of international system. So you can understand it is not exactly the system that works, exists at a state level. What is the difference? The main difference between a state level system and international level system. A state level system, political system, David Easton defines it as authoritative allocation of values. Authoritative allocation of values. So At a state level political system, the political system mainly works for authoritative allocation of values. What is value? Value here means simply the benefits from the state, policies, justice, security, education, health, other public goods. This is value. Authoritative allocation means no one can deny it. There is coercive power behind this allocation, cannot be denied. But this authoritative allocation is possible only when there exists a sovereign state. Correct? So, state political system works mainly for authoritative allocation of value. Allocation means distribution करना. किसको कितना जाएगा स्टेट का बेनिफिट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ पॉलिसी, इन द फॉर्म ऑफ स्कीम्स, वेलफेयर, किसको कितना जाएगा authoritatively. Everyone will have to comply with it. Those who don't comply with it, they will be coerced. But at international level, there is no authoritative allocation. So that's why there is interactions. Whatever allocation takes place, that is mainly because of interactions. Interaction here means exchange of treaties, diplomatic consensus. So whatever authority is built, that is built through the consensual dialogue and communication between the states. So that's why here the focus is on describable regularities and regular interactions, patterned interactions. So whatever authoritative allocation comes out of it, that is consensual. That is based on the dialogue process between the nations. Right? Now let us try to understand some basic assumptions behind systems approach. So following are the basic assumptions behind system approach. First is international relations as international system. International relation to be studied as international system. It means that international relations can be analyzed as a set of relations amongst international actors who are mainly states who communicate with each other through diplomacy, through trade, through treaties, legal agreements, conventions, etc., etc. So that is first assumption. International relation to be studied and analyzed as an international system. What constitutes an international system is the interactions between international actors. There must be interactions between international actors. So at least we can easily see that there are interactions, describable interactions between various international actors that refers to nations. Second is international system is not exactly international political system. This is what I was referring to, international political system. So it is not, international system is not international political system. Why? Because international system is characterized mainly by the exchanges of opinion, treaties, trade, agreements, conventions, etc. Why it is not international political system? Because in any conceivable political system, there has to be authoritative allocation. But no authoritative allocation takes place exactly at international level. Whatever authoritative allocation happens, that is based on consensus between the sovereign actors. Right? So this is one of the main features of international system. It must not be confused as international political system. The moment we say international political system, it means that we are also including a sovereign authority which has the power to use its coercive methods and powers to get its allocations done. That is missing. Third assumption is international actors and national actors, presence of international actors and international actors. So, international actors that comprises of nations, sovereign nations, and then national actors, so diplomats, heads of states, etc. They work on behalf of the nations. Okay. We also have some other supranational actors like United Nations, its various bodies, uh, NGOs, right? Then we will include also transnational corporations. Okay. Now, let us try to understand the, the categorization of international actors, right? So, international actors can be categorized in two main categories. First is the national actors acting in the international environment. National actors acting in the environment of international environment. That means the diplomats working from the platform of various international institutions, including mainly United Nations. And second category is of the supranational actors. Supranational actors that comprises mainly of United Nations and regional organizations and other international agencies. Supranational actors. They are further supranational agencies can be further subcategorized as regional actors like EU, ASEAN, like NAFTA, and other regional associations. You can include SARC also, etc. etc. ठीक है? Now, what is the regular interaction? The regular interactions refer to exchange of ambassadors, envoys, treaties, each other's opinion, agreements, etc. Okay. Now, uh, let us try to now understand the specific views of Mortan Kaplan. Right? So, Mortan Kaplan has been the chief exponent of system approach in international relations. He advocates that international politics offers international politics offers the best sphere of application of the concept of system as a tool for investigating all its phenomena. International system is most inclusive as it is constituted by those interactions among international actors which are neither fully cooperative nor totally conflictual. The international relation is, international system is most inclusive as it is most inclusive system as it is constituted by those interactions among international actors which are neither fully cooperative nor totally conflictual. It has its subsystems and a set of every system has subsystem. It has its own subsystems and a set of actors which are both international and supranational actors. It is constituted by interactions among the international actors, right? He has put forward in this regard 10 major models of uh, international system. So, which are following. The first is the balance of power system. We will understand what is balance of power system. Then the bipolar system. Under bipolar system, we have loose bipolar system, we have tight bipolar system, we have universal actor system, we have hierarchical system, then we have unit veto system, then we have incomplete nuclear diffusion system, then we have unstable block model, right? So let us now try to understand the balance of power system as explained by Mortan Caplan, balance of power, right? So this model of Mortan Caplan related to international system, it refers to the balance of power that existed mainly in Europe between 1814. 1814. What happened in 1814? 1814. There was another Paris conference, and then 1815 Vienna conference that decided the pattern of relationship between major European powers, France, Germany, Britain, Italy, Russia, etc. So it is believed that this agreement reached at Paris conference and then finally at Vienna conference, uh, it helped Europe. I mean, it somehow it managed stability, and no big war happened after this. 1814 happened because of Napoleonic War, end of Napoleon. The entire Europe was involved. So after this concert, no big war took place until 1914, First World War. So the credit is given to balance of power. Why no major war happened in Europe between this period, 1814 to 1918? The credit is always given to balance of power system. This balance of power system emerged from the, the Paris Conference 1814 and Vienna Conference 1815, right? So, no. What were the main features of this balance of power? So, according to Mortan Caplan, following were the main features of this balance of power system. So, first feature is balance of power implies the presence of 5 to 7 major powers, and each power is trying to balance the power of every other member so that none should become too powerful to threaten others, right? So there is a presumption that the balance of power has to be maintained over a group of members who mainly comprises of 5 to 7 members, right? Second feature is each member seeks to increase its own capabilities through negotiations, and not through resorting to war. So, amongst these 5 to 7 members, each member is trying to maximize its power, but not through war, but through negotiations between themselves. Right. Third feature is each member is prepared to fight rather than pass on an opportunity to increase capabilities for protecting its own national interest. Each member is prepared to fight. They are preparing. Why they are acquiring power? They are preparing. Each member is preparing to fight rather than passing on an opportunity to increase capabilities for protecting its national interest. So it is believed that the uh, smaller war are the medium to finally win the peace. If you want long-term peace, then short-term war may not be completely avoidable. It is possible to go for short-term war. So each member is preparing itself for fighting rather than passing on an opportunity to increase the capabilities. Fourth feature is the members maintain a balance in their power position. They try to maintain a balance in their power position, and no member is permitted. This is the most significant feature of balance of power. No member is permitted or allowed to acquire more power, unduly, disproportionate power, which can threaten the entire balance of power. So, no member should be allowed to become more powerful. More powerful means that much powerful which can endanger the balance itself. That would be collapse of balance of power. If any member acquires disproportionate power, means territory capture कर लिया, military expand कर लिया, disproportionate, then the balance of power is said to have collapsed, and now the war becomes inevitable in that situation. So why do the war happens? Balance of power perspective would argue it happens because the balance of power has collapsed and one member has acquired disproportionate power. Okay, so the fifth feature is a member or a group of members in such a system can go for war, but only for maintenance of balance of power. This is not a full-fledged war. The war is only a medium to earn peace, to restore. What is the peace? Peace here is nothing but the presence of balance of power. If the balance of power is maintained, then peace already, automatically takes place, right? The invasion aggression happens and the aggression becomes divided, leading to a full-fledged war only when one member acquires disproportionate power. The moment balanced power is stored, right, stabilized, then automatically there is no war. So absence of war is the peace. They don't argue, guarantee that there is permanent peace. Absence of war is the peace. And what is absence of war? Balance of power. Right? So to maintain balance of power, sometime it may happen that a small level war may become inevitable. जो किसी ने टेरिटरी ले लिया किसी का, उसको टेरिटरी वापस दिलवाना है, तो इसके लिए एक स्मॉल वॉर हो गया, right? But the purpose is not to allow the members to be split into two alliances, right? If they are split into two alliances, then there is danger of full-fledged war. The purpose in balance of power is only to maintain balance. And for maintaining balance, a small level war may become inevitable, in which a power, one of the powers which has acquired more power, that can be बैलेंस, उसका टेरिटरी उससे ले लिया जाएगा. उसने जो ज़्यादा टेरिटरी एक्वायर कर लिया, उसका टेरिटरी उसका टेरिटोरियल डिसमेंबरमेंट कर देंगे. Its military will be weakened, right? And then sixth feature is no member is eliminated from the system. It is essential for the system to work that all the members must remain there. If either of the member gets out of that system, then that is danger. That can become a danger, because maintenance of balance of power may become difficult, and this member which has gone outside this system may join other forces, external forces, or can start uh, expanding its own army separately. In the long term, can threaten the entire group. So seventh is a member or a group of members act for opposing any other group or a single member, which tends to assume unduly powerful position and dominance with respect to the rest of the system. So whenever one member tries to become more powerful in respect to other members, then other members help each other. other members help each other to become so powerful that the one single member, its power is balanced. They can do so by helping each other to acquire more power, or they can, in second instance, they can also go for helping one of the members, which is relatively larger in size, larger in military, to acquire proportionate power or equal power to that member which is seeking to maximize its power. Right? Eighth feature is eighth. Attempts are made to check the actors who try to follow supranational organization principles. So they also try to, this 5 to 7 members, they also try to prohibit or prevent one of the actors or the members which is trying to follow the supranational organizational principle. Don't follow supranational organizational principle. Means building building a common authority, right, which can mediate between them externally. So no member is allowed to build the institution like League of Nations or United Nations. Don't go for don't go for the creation of supranational institution that will alter the balance of power. Okay, the ninth is the defeated or constant essential members are permitted to re-enter the system as acceptable role patterns. So it may happen that one member is defeated by one another member, or one powerful member which tried to dominate the group is defeated by other members and then excluded from the member. But this exclusion should not be permanent. If it tries to return, come back, it should be integrated with that group, should be welcomed. It will add to the balance of power system. Then 10th is actors, the members act to bring some previously inessential actors within the essential actors classification and treat all the essential actors as complete role partners. Uh, right? Will